What's going on, everybody? It's Tyler with Tyler Talks Travel Trailers here at Albuquerque RV in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And today we are about to tour something very new with Flagstaff. This is going to be a 2026 Flagstaff Classic 405 CBH. That sounds like a new model number probably, because it is. Flagstaff is officially getting into the 40-foot length fifth wheels. It is nice, and it's a full profile fifth wheel. So the front bedroom, you have a lot more interior height, as well as the storage areas outside. The pass-through storage doors are much bigger, and the storage area is much larger. They used to only do fifth wheels that were like around 36 feet, 10 inches. So I'm really excited they're finally gonna get into that market, because they kind of do good in every market. So it makes sense for them to kind of get into the 40-foot, and I think people are really gonna like it because of the quality, the look of it. Everything is top-notch, top to bottom, side to side, all around. The construction is amazing on Flagstaff, from their E-Pros all the way up to their Classics. This is gonna be a family fifth wheel, so you can bring the whole family along with no issues. As you guys know, I go super in depth on these tours, so we need to get started. But first, we are gonna do the specs. It takes me 1 minute to do those specs, and then we'll dive inside. Let's go, guys. So the basic specs on this 2026 Flagstaff Classic 405 CBH. Your unloaded vehicle weight is 10,869 pounds. Your cargo carrying capacity is 2,628 pounds, which brings your potential fully loaded weight to 13,497 pounds. Your hitch weight is 2,020 pounds. Your exterior length is 40 feet total. Your exterior height is 13 feet, 4 inches. Your exterior width is 8 feet. Your tanks, your fresh water tank is 54 gallons. Your gray water tank is 92 gallons. And your black tank is 53 gallons. Your awning sizes are 10 feet and 17 feet. Let's jump inside. Awesome, guys. Now that we got those specs done, we are going to start with the inside and work our way to the outside. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm going to be giving you a lot of info on features and benefits, construction, as well as measurements. I try to give you as much info as I possibly can, and then I figured once you're sick of listening to me, you can shut me off. 405 CBH, family fifth wheel, first of its kind, and hopefully many more to come. I think these are going to do fantastic. Look at that. Just nice and classy, clean and crisp. That is why I like Flagstaff. We'll do a quick circle around here real quick. A lot of these companies out here, they do it seems like they overdo it. They put like too much fanciness into it, and it starts to look tacky. So I like Flagstaff because they keep it clean, sleek, and just, it's not gonna, as you own a trailer, it gets outdated because they kind of overdo it. I feel like Flagstaff's interior is gonna last long down the road. Like it's not gonna be out of style. So as you notice, we are coming into the main living / kitchen area. It does have 2 slide outs in this area. You'll have this one main slide right here, and then the one right over there for the entertainment area. When you first walk in, you come into the kitchen area. Decent amount of counter space. This fifth wheel has tons of storage for all of your kitchen appliances, snacks, utensils, all that good stuff. Lots of counter space right here. Solid surface countertops. It is not for mica, so it's gonna stay looking nice when the water, if you get water on it, it's not gonna warp or anything like that. From this wall, going over top of the sink, when this cover is on it, you got 22 by 61 for that whole area. You can use this as prep space too. That's kind of why I measured that. And then if you wanted to, you do have a little extension right here that is going to be 12 by 21, just to give you a little added counter space, or if you wanted to put a drying rack on there, you could. Now, when you're ready to use this sink, it is a stainless steel sink, good quality undermount sink, 14 by 25 and 7 inches deep for that sink. So it is big enough to actually wash your pots and pans. Sometimes they make it so small, you cannot do, you can't wash the bigger pots and pans. You could bring this down if you need to get close and personal with those dishes. And then you got your metal faucet right here as well. Put these back over. We're gonna try to go through this as quick as possible without cutting too many corners just because of how big this is. So nice area right there. You got your sponge holder, little area to put your utensils. It's got the soft close. These are all real wood cabinetry. It is not paper wrapped, so you don't have to worry about that peeling on you. This is gonna be 14 by 16 and 8 inches deep. So this bottom one is a little bigger. And then you got a place to put the trash can. Woo! I bet you guys have looked at a lot of trailers and you're like, where the heck does the trash can go? So it does have a place for the trash can. This area is gonna be 14 by 18 and 26.5 inches tall to that sink right there. So some good storage. I love the magnets. They work a lot better than the rolly pins that stretch out. Over here, you got 2 more storage areas, cabinets. This top one's gonna be 15.5 by 22.5. So both of those are 15.5 by 22.5. Top one is 14 inches tall. Bottom one is 18 inches tall. So great storage maybe for pots and pans. As we come up, I love the contrasting wood grain up here. You got, it's kind of a new tone that they're doing. But like I said, all real wood cabinetry throughout. And then really great storage up here. I love the glass inlay, just a nice added touch. One thing I do want to point out that Flagstaff does that the competition, most of the competition does not. They actually use galvanized steel to hang all their cabinetry on the back. So when they screw it in, there's galvanized steel behind it versus the thin sheet of aluminum that other companies tend to use. So you're not going to worry about your cabinetry falling off the wall. Each one of these is going to be 12 by 59 going all the way back to the corner. And they're both 13.5 inches tall. So nice, good, deep storage right there. Goes all the way back. That is great storage for your bowls, plates, cups. You might think this doesn't have storage, but wait till I show you the rest of this thing. This is kind of a unique storage. There's no shelving or anything, but it is a big storage area. So, I mean, bigger appliances that you may need to put in here, a little different. Some shelves kind of would have been cool right there, but I'm sure you could add some. 15 by 21, 27.5 inches tall for that area right there. Moving on to your 3-burner cooktop, and look at how good that looks. Stainless steel, almost like residential grade. You got your fancy dancy lights. Love that nice glow right there, and a big oven with 3 trays ready to go for you. You can fit yourself a full-size turkey. Not a small turkey in that thing. Down here, you got some more storage. Oh, that's cool. It's wood, but it has that front metal look to match the oven. So nice area for, you know, cookie pans or whatever, cupcake pans, stuff like that for baking. You have one window right there, so you can look out on the driver's side of this fifth wheel. Nice big residential size microwave. It is Magic Chef, so good quality brand right there. And you will have some Magic Chef throughout, and I'll point it out to you. This is just your standard microwave, but dang, this thing is bigger than mine at home. So good size microwave. It looks like it is just your standard microwave because it does have the oven down below. You have a little bit of prep space right here. So from the stovetop to the wall, you got 24 by 36.5. And as you see, you do have a plug over here if you want to put your coffee pot Keurig over here in the corner. And as you can see, you do have your USB and USB-C plugs. So this is what I was using to charge my phone. These are really handy plugs because you can use those without being plugged into a generator or shore power. Up above this microwave, you do have some storage that is a little harder to reach, as you can see. So maybe some stuff that you're not always going to be using, but some nice added storage. You got 16 by 32 and 11 inches tall for that. Now, moving on to the beautiful residential Magic Chef refrigerator. This thing is huge. 18 cubic foot fridge with the ice maker. That is nice. So if you like ice in your drinks, it's got it. And like I said, Magic Chef, very nice right here. So big, it's deep, it cools a lot faster. Obviously being like the gas electric, you tend to have to put them on the night before. So these are gonna cool super fast. Man, this fridge is nicer than mine at home. So got some, looks like your ice maker is right down there, so it'll drop into this little tray. That's pretty cool. Again, Magic Chef. You have your tire monitoring system in here, and I'll talk about that when we get outside. And then your little, they even give you touch-up paint for all of your cabinetry in that bag, as well as an owner's manual that you're not having to look up on the internet. You actually get a real booklet with the owner's manual. A lot of companies do not give you that anymore. This storage, I forgot because I couldn't reach it. So this might be good for the stuff you make roasts in, or the rice maker, toaster, stuff like that. So that is some good storage maybe for stuff that you're not gonna use every single day. But overall, this kitchen flows really nice. Plenty of storage for those quick things you need in the kitchen. Turn you around. We're not done with the storage, so stick with me. You got your main slide out in this living space. So it is a rack and pinion slide system, so you can see it's nice and flush with the floor. You got your 4-seater dinette with a freestanding table, so you can move it around, which is nice. If you have kids on this side, someone's bigger on this side, you could kind of push it to them. The tabletop itself is 26.5 by 44. So I always say it, definitely big enough to ruin some relationships and pull out that Monopoly board game right there. You can turn this into a bed as well. So if the kids have extra guests, they bring their friends along, you can actually crack this in half. It kind of like folds in half. I don't know why I said crack, but you put that over and then it kind of folds down to these little tabs. Then you'll throw the cushions on top of the table, and your bed itself is gonna be 44 by 68, or 5 feet 8 inches in length. So you can sleep an adult, but I mean, if you're 6'2", it might be a little difficult. We will talk about construction. Just stick with me because this dinette has some impressive construction aspects to it. You got 2 drawers on both sides, massive drawers. I put the measurement on this one. These are huge, 13.5 by 27 and 8 inches deep for those 2 drawers right there. Love the color schemes of the dinette and your couches. Everything just looks really good. Even the detail on the wall back here, look at that. Just little added touches that make it look classy, but it's not overdone. Moving on to the right of this. Anytime you look at the measurements on the manufacturer website, they measure like everything, and it's like you're not gonna sit on that. It's kind of deceiving. So I measured it out for you. That each seat from the armrest to the armrest, you got 22 inches. It would have been cool if this did flip up so you can kind of cuddle up. Not a big deal, but you do have a little storage right here with the USB and USB-C plug there. You got 4 cup holders for those cold snacks. So you could be double fisting those drinks right here, stainless steel. And then we'll turn you around nice and slow so you don't get sick. And you got your electric lift right here, and it does lean back pretty far. So let me turn you around. So, oh yeah, I could sleep on this. I could nap on this, no problem. So that's how far back it'll go. Pretty nice. I'll get up and off of it so you can kind of see. So it kind of hugs the wall. Pretty comfy. And then it is positioned perfectly in front of the entertainment area. Look at that. Positioned right in front of it so you could watch the game, watch the fights, whatever you enjoy. It's a pretty big TV too. What would that be, like a 50-inch? Can't really tell. It's big, and it is a smart TV. It'll have all the apps ready to go. You do have your fireplace down below. These come in handy, if you're at a campground and they have electricity, you could save your propane and heat this area. It probably won't obviously heat up the entire area, but a nice way to kind of cut the chill. And it works good. I had to turn it off because it was kind of making me hot, and you could just have it on the ambiance right there. Nice little entertainment area. I like this new style that they're doing. They did this weird brick look on the 25s and 24s. It was weird. It looked like my old elementary school brick walls. So I'm happy they kind of got rid of that. Over here to the right, again, lots of storage. Plenty of storage for all those snacks. This is your pantry. Look at that. You got to imagine if you're bringing the whole family along, that's a lot of mouths to feed. So having this extra storage for all your snacks is huge. 18 by 21.5 is each of those. So floor to ceiling storage, and they range from 11 inches tall down to 21 inches or 20 inches tall at the bottom. So 11, 13.5, 16, 15.5, and 20. So variations of height, which is good because not everything is the same height. Plenty of storage. You do have a plug in there as well. And you do have even more storage because I just measured those cubbies, but once this door's shut, if you notice, you still have this area right here. So you can even put, you know, brooms in here, which is nice because you still have this area right here. So a nice place to even store some brooms, some cleaning stuff. You do have a plug in here as well. So if you have one of those vacuum cleaners that's fancy, you can charge it in there and keep it out of the way. Really great storage right there. It's got that light that goes on and off automatically, the glass inlay, and again, even more storage. Look at this. This is kind of some hidden storage. You know, if you want to hide some protection back here, the liquor cabinet, maybe don't tell the kids about this little section right here, and look at that. Have some hidden storage back there. Pretty neat, huh? So this storage area right here is 23 by 52.5 and 21 inches tall. You got your outdoor radio, indoor and outdoor speakers right there. Very great hidden storage for whatever you feel like you don't want people to see. And then up above, this is great for DVDs, board games, anything like this. Goes back super far, 29 by 52 and 16.5 inches tall. Love this raised beveled edge on the cabinetry. You got hidden hinges, so it looks nice and sleek like I was telling you. Overall, really nice living space. You got plenty of plugs throughout. You got one there. You do have one at the dinette too, right there. So if you want to work from the table, you can. That side doesn't have one. And then you have one plug there and then another plug down here. So that is your plugs in this living space. Seems like you get good plugs in every area. Super tall interior height. I did not measure it, but trust me, you're going to be fine. But you do have the fan in here. I didn't even have a fan in my last apartment. That is fancy. Windows throughout on the whole campsite. Let me just show you one of them. So you could see out, and they do twist open. So they open like that, get a nice breeze in here. And then if you accidentally leave one open, the way it's set up is you don't have to worry about water coming in and getting into the trailer. Some of these lights are touch, mainly these small ones. And then the main ones are not touch, but you can dim them. And they're that nice flush puck lighting. It looks really good. Do have a max air vent in here. Let's move on to the bunks right away. So look at this. You got a nice sliding barn style door, which gives you a lot of space versus the swinging door. And then also you don't have to worry about crushing it with the slide. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I have done that by mistake. My bad. I've actually crushed a chair too. So you gotta be really careful when you have the slides going in. You wanna make sure that everything is out of the way. Look at this bunk room. How fun is this for the kids? Two big double bunks in here with their air conditioner. This will have 3 air conditioners. I believe they're all 15,000 BTU air conditioners, all ducted, but really nice little space for the kids. If you're gonna be going on long trips, you know, maybe the kids are homeschooled, you got yourself a desk, little workstation for them. This desktop is 25 by 38, so you could put a desktop computer right there. You even have plenty of plugs right here. So this serves as a charging pad as well. So you can throw your phone right there and it will charge. When you need the plugs, pull those up. Then you got 2 standard plugs and those USB plugs. So if you want to put a computer here, printer, whatever, you know, maybe even the adults, if they need a workstation, this is a fantastic area to get some work done. I don't think it comes with the chair. Did not measure these because they're kind of small, about the size of my hand. And then their own TV. And again, smart TV. You got your Netflix, all that good stuff, and it will swivel out. So TVs in the living room and this area. Lots of storage for the kids. Anytime you get bunks, always keep an eye out for that because sometimes that's something you miss and then there's no storage for kids. You got this one more for like your hanging wardrobe for your shirts and stuff. Top one doesn't have that hanging thing, but they're going to be 15 by 26 and the top one's 27 inches tall and the bottom one is 37 inches tall. tall enough to where your clothes and shirts will not wrinkle up at the bottom. Huge wardrobe storage area right here. Look at all of that. So these are going to be 26 by 28. Top one's 28 inches tall, and then 19 and 19 inches tall right there for that storage. Lots of great storage. And again, still real wood cabinetry through the whole trailer. A lot of companies, you know, they'll do it in the living area and then not in throughout the whole thing. So you got 4 drawers right here. These are going to be 16 by 17 and 7 inches deep for those right there. Look at that. They even got their nice underglow on their wardrobe. Doesn't that look good? Awesome. So your bunks, very good size. You could easily sleep 2 adults on each one. They should hold about 500 pounds. That's usually what they are. But there's a reason why these are constructed so well, and I will get into it. So each bunk is 47 by 71. So 5 feet, 11 inches of length. So you could sleep an adult. You know, if you're 6'1", you might have to curl up a little bit, but that is the sizes of both bunks, giving you a little idea of the space you're working with, because these can get claustrophobic, but these ones are not. Each one has 28 inches of height in it. So from the bunk to the roof, 28 inches. From the bunk to the bunk, 28 inches. So you can get in there comfortably. It also helps that each bunk has a window. Might seem like a small detail, but most companies do not give you a window on the bottom bunk, so it feels like a cave. They both open, USB and USB-C plugs, as well as standard plugs in there. And then you can see you have another touch light up there. Ducted with the AC, or you could just dump it straight in here. Nice metal railings right there, as well as a nice heavy-duty ladder to get in and out of this bunk. Now, one thing I want to talk about construction a little earlier than normal is we're going to lift this. Look at this storage. How amazing is that for all of this stuff? And you do have a door outside, and I did measure it. But this is going to be a 6-side aluminum framed trailer, meaning the roof, the floor, both side walls, front and back. Everything is aluminum. But Flagstaff goes even further. They aluminum frame anything you stand on, sleep on, everything, sit on. It is all aluminum framed, all welded aluminum. You got to imagine how much is that going to help the integrity of, you know, the dinette and bunks. So just to show you an example, look at this. Aluminum framing on the bunks. There is not very many companies out there doing that. So you got to imagine when these kids are in here hanging out, jumping up and down, acting crazy, how much better is this going to hold up than wood framing? I have seen it happen. You know, your dinettes or your bunks crack and then it has to be reframed. It is not cheap. And then also, like I said, your dinette is aluminum too. It's kind of hard to see, but see that little sliver right there? This is all aluminum as well. So when you go to jab your knee into this and pull this shade up, I've seen it done so many times. People crack their dinette. And how expensive is it going to be to have to reframe it? But most importantly, what if you have a trip planned like a year in advance and for some reason the bunk cracks in half or the dinette? How long is it going to be at the dealership to get that all fixed? So all aluminum framing. This is probably one of the biggest reasons why people love Flagstaff so much. Just high quality. You got a plug even in here. And then this comes down. I spoke to our rep a couple days ago, and he told me that they realized that on these bigger fifth wheels, customers weren't really using the inverter as much. So I believe it is prepped for the inverter now, which would be nice because then all the outlets can work with that inverter. So a lot of these outlets will be tied into the inverter. So if you wanted to, you can get the inverter, but usually with this length, people aren't using the inverter as much. So it's now not standard, whereas on the E-Pro up to the classic tow behinds, it will come standard. So just keep that in mind. And there's a couple other things that they took out on the bigger fifth wheels. So let me show you up there real quick, make sure I didn't miss anything. And then you can dim these lights as well. So if you hold this, oh, come on. See, how neat is that? So you could dim all the lights throughout this unit. Overall, I think this is a really fun space for the kids to hang out. You know, you could shut the door if they're driving you nuts. You need a little space. They have their own little area to hang out. Ooh, you got another touch light right there. Lots of lighting throughout. I love it. Moving on, let's go to the bathroom. We're moving through this thing good, quick. Usually on my microlights, the 25 foots, I go 50 minutes and I talk about literally almost everything. So if you want to learn more about Flagstaff, go to any of my other tow behind travel trailers, because it doesn't matter what Flagstaff you go with. They're pretty much constructed all the same quality, and that's why I love them so much. So I can't touch on everything because this video would be like 2 hours long. So you got steps going up, no carpet, of course, and you do have an area for your shoes. One thing I didn't show you, I'll pause right here real quick, just so you can, just in case I do miss anything. See, it used to have the inverter right here as an option now, but now it's the 200 watts of solar and the solar 30 amp solar controller. So you just, if you want the inverter, it can be done real easily. But night roller shades, and we'll get into that when we go outside. Let's move on to the bathroom. So it's got the sliding door again, allowing for a lot more space. And whoa, bam! Look at that. One piece fiberglass shower. That is nice. They used to not do that, so there's no seam in there. That's great. So first thing I always tell you guys to do is check the commode, make sure it's comfortable. You do got a porcelain toilet, good quality. It won't make some scary sounds when you go to sit on it. And if you're bigger, you know, it's just gonna be a little more comfortable. So we'll shut the door. Just remember, these pocket doors or sliding doors do not have locks. So you need to tell the kids, when that door's shut, don't be coming in. But it does kind of go over that little lip and it stays shut. But just keep in mind, these don't have locks. Ah, man. Okay, so knee room, not bad. I am 5'7". I can stretch my legs all the way out. You got 29 inches from the toilet seat to the cabinet over there. Turn you around nice and slow. Do a little bit of a flex. So, right hand, you know, you got the room. I'm not farting, it's the toilet seat. And then the left side, if you're left-handed, it is a little tighter right here. So you're gonna have to be ambidextrous. And then people always ask, where's the paper towel or the toilet paper holder? They give you one, but they allow you to put it where you want, because, you know, people are left-handed, right-handed. You gotta kind of get a pick where you want it. This floor space right here is going to be 28 by 29, kind of where the toilet starts, 28 by 29, so you can get out, dry off, do what you need to do. You do have a little storage down below. I did not measure that. You got your plumbing right there. See if you can see it. There's your plumbing. I know you guys like to see that. And then sponge holder. And they actually put solid surface counters even in the bathroom. They used to not do that either. You got 8 inches of counter space on this side and this side. Your sink is 8.5 by 12 and 4.5 inches deep. Metal faucet right there. And then you got your mirror to check out the hairdo. And then over here you got your medicine cabinet. Pretty standard stuff right there. Now, talking about the shower, you do have a solid enclosure. So it's got the 3-panel door. It's the tri-slide door, and I like it because you can move it all out of the way, but also there's absolutely no way for water to escape. You got your gaskets right here, very nice and secure, so you're not going to step out of the shower and break your neck with water. So you can move it all the way to this side, which might be a little easier for people to get in and out. And like I said, one-piece fiberglass shower right there. So I didn't measure, I measured from here that way because I like to measure what you can actually stand in. The manufacturers like to measure the enclosure, and it's a little deceiving. So from the seat this way and this way, you're looking at 25 by 32.5. Now, yeah, that's right. 25 by 32.5 for that area. Now the entire closure going over the seat and everything, the enclosure itself is 25.5 by 45.5. So that'll give you a lot more shoulder room, but the area you can mainly stand in right here is going to be 25 by 32.5. Not sure if you'd stand right here, so that's why I didn't measure it. Now I'll step inside of it to give you a reference. Like I always say, I'm 5'7", 250 pounds of pure muscle. Look at that. I can flex. I'm just kidding. I'm only like 152 pounds. Bet you couldn't tell, huh? So look, you can take one big step, One big step, do the noodle arm. Plenty of space in here. Comfortable shower head is at a good height. So as you can see, if you are a little taller though, you know, you can pull it off, use the wand. It's got a bunch of different settings. Oh no, this one does not. Excuse me, it doesn't. But it has the on and off to kind of save water when you're dry camping. So if you want to soap up, then turn it on, you can. And then soap holder. And just to give you a little idea of some changes, one change that they did make on the fifth wheels is they do not include the shower miser anymore. But it is something that we could add. I'd imagine we usually could add anything, but on the tow behinds, you get the shower miser on all of them. It's just the fifth wheels. Now, your interior height of the shower, from the shower pan itself to the skylight, is going to be 82 inches or 6 feet 10 inches. So if you're 6'11", you're just too tall, or your neck's going to be crinked and you're going to be in the space dome up there. So 82 inches, 6 feet 10 inches of interior height in that shower right there. Not bad at all. We do have some linen storage over here to the left. It would have been nice if it was like the pool one, but who am I? I'm just the reviewer. This is going to be 11.5 by 32, each of these. 11 by 32.5, almost floor to ceiling storage. And then they range from, they're 14 inches tall for the top ones, and then they go to 13 inches. So variations of height, but if you needed to put something a little taller in here, you can remove some of these, which really comes in handy. So if you have something a little taller, they give you the opportunity to move those. Of course, it's got the big fart fan, baby. Woo! So it's got 4 speeds. It's got the rain cover. It's nice. So when you're going down the road, you can actually keep it open and then it won't be so stuffy in the trailer. And of course, another plus is that if it rains and you leave it open, you're not going to have to worry about rain getting in here. So it's got 4 speeds. Definitely going to help with that condensation and the potential smells with the stinky gremlins. All right. And you, like I said, you do have 2 max air vents. So you got one here and one in there, and you got the remote because the one in the living room is just too tall to get to. Moving on to the hotel suite on wheels without the bed bugs. So it would have been cool if they did a sliding door. I'm just not sure how they would have done it, but let's check this out. Oh, look at that. The main cave. Look at this. Such a cozy room in here. So this does have the one slide out in here. Gives it a lot more space to walk around the bed. In the bedroom, you got 12 walk around space around this bed. You got 12 inches on this side. And then on the front, you got 27 inches. So enough room to get in here and change from the bathroom. And then on this side, you got 18 inches. So you got a little more space on this side of the bed. As you can see, it is a king. It's going to be a 72 by 80. So it is 2 inches narrower than like a residential king, but not mad at that because it gives you a little extra space to walk around. You do have little end tables right here. They are a little smaller, maybe a little too small for the CPAP machines, but you got plugs and USB-C plugs on both sides. You have a little area up here. Maybe that would be a good space for CPAP machine. Not sure if the hoses could hang down like that, but it could be an option. Did not measure these up here, but just some added storage above the bed. I like the headboard. Doesn't that look good? Like I said, they don't overdo these. They make them look nice and classy. That's what I'm all about. Sometimes these companies just like put so much glitter and glam into it. They put the tacky blue lighting in the corners. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just nitpicking. You do have windows on both sides that do open, so you can get a nice cross breeze going through here. Moving on to the storage right here. Got a lot of measurements, but I wasn't going to do them, but I said, I've already gone this far. So you have shelves, adjustable shelves right here, and we probably could order you more. Those are going to be 15.5 by 33.5 for those shelves. As you can see, they don't come all the way out to the door, and that is because you got a washer dryer prep. How about that? So you can get your washer dryer put in here, and it does have the actual, let's see, that's your drain. Let's see, remove the waterless trap before using the mechanical drain. So that is like your drain right there for the washer and dryer prep. This one actually looks a little smaller than this top one. Then if you removed all of the shelves, like everything, you got 25 by 29 and 76 inches tall of storage. So there's your little washer dryer combo right there. And you can use it as a hanging wardrobe up here as well. So if the significant other does like to bring the whole wardrobe along, you have plenty of storage in this unit. So this one was a little difficult to measure. So I did measure like this area. As you can see, it comes out a little more. I just measured this. So this is going to be 14 by 57 and 52 inches tall. To up here, you got your hanging wardrobe closet up top to hang your shirts, and then a nice little area to put your shoes maybe. Each one of these is 10 by 33 and a half, and then 12 and a half inches tall for each one of those. That is what those little shoe areas are. 2 drawers down below, and these are gonna be 12 by 18 and a half and 4.5 inches deep for those 2 drawers. Very good storage, even more above, and this is a lot. This goes far back. Like I said, if you're going on long extended trips, you're going through a cold state to a warm state, you need to have those winter clothes and summer clothes. 22 by 57 and a half and 11 inches tall for that right there. And like I said, this is a full profile fifth wheel. In the like in 24, there was a step up in here, so your head was super close to the ceiling. On this one, now you have 80-inch interior ceiling height in the bedroom. So you could see I've got plenty of room to walk around. It does curve a little bit, but even over here, you know, you still got plenty of room. So much higher ceilings in the bedroom than they used to do previously. Over here, you do have another TV. Not sure if this one's smart because it is an Insignia. I don't want to say yes or no, but they already gave you the TV right here ready to go. Usually you have to buy that on your own. Windows right there, and then this cabinet right here is going to be 15 by 43 right there. See, this is a different material. See, it's not like the solid surface. A lot of times it's just they got to do certain areas to conserve that weight as well, to keep the weight down, because I think I said this is only like 14,000 pounds. That is super lightweight. Lots of drawers right here. These 4 are a little smaller. Let me show it to you. I just shut it. These are going to be 12 by 14 and 4.5 inches deep for those ones. And then the bottom one is a little deeper. It's going to be 12 by 14 and 8 inches deep. So a couple different options right there. Turning you around nice and slow without making you sick. Lift this up. And this is another good example of what I was saying about the aluminum framing. You see that? All aluminum framed under the bed as well. So good quality welded aluminum, as well as it's going to be lighter, stronger. You're not going to have to worry about this stuff cracking. 43 by 53 and 10.5 inches tall for this storage under the bed. Whoa. All right. Let's go to the control panel real quick. Keep this thing moving. Like I said, 3 air conditioners. This is your control panel. Right here, I like the old standard, just normal push button instead of the touchscreen. There's not really anything that can go wrong with this. You got your interior lights, awning lights, water heater, water pump, all that stuff right here, just push of a button. But one thing it has is this right here, tank heaters. So I just hit that. That is 12-volt heat pads. There's a pad on the fresh, black, and both gray tanks. I am a fan of the 12-volt heat pads versus just a duct going into the underbelly. Main reason is, let's say you're going cross country, you're starting in Florida, and it's just normal weather, 75 degrees in the winter or something, and then you get into Colorado, the Rocky Mountains, and it's wintertime, and it gets down to, 25 degrees. It is freezing. What are you going to do if your tanks are filled? You can't keep your heater running the whole time you're going down the road. With the 12-volt heat pads, push that button, And what's cool about those heat pads versus everyone else's is those go on automatically and off automatically when you're at freezing temps or above freezing temps. So come in here, push that button, and you're good to go. Going down the road knowing that your tanks won't freeze and you can keep them filled. The other reason I like it is maybe you and the kids and everyone wants to go out and get dinner, or maybe you're gonna go out fishing. No one is in the trailer. How annoying would it be to have to keep your heater running the whole time you're not in the trailer? So you're gonna be wasting propane, which isn't cheap, and that's not fun. No sense in having your heater running if you're not in it. So throw those 12-volt heat pads on, go about your day, not have to worry because they're smart heat pads, and then come back, and then you could turn your heater on, or turn your heater on. Whereas other ones, you'd have to keep your heater running the whole day, which would be a pain. So it's got the heated and enclosed underbelly, 12-volt heat pads that are smart. And like I said, this does have 200 watts of solar, so it's constantly going to keep those batteries charged up. So when you're going down the road, as well as your charge line too from your 7-way plug. So I'm a fan of the 12-volt heat pads. If I was getting a trailer that had extended season capabilities, the 12-volt is the way to go. So one great feature I wanted to talk about right there. And then there's your fan right there, and then your 30 amp solar controller right there. You got your thermostat right here for all 3 air conditioners. You can operate them independently if you would want. And like I said, it is all ducted throughout. We need to open those. Someone's gonna have a hard time opening those. But what's cool is if you, maybe you're all sitting in here in the living area, you can shut all the ducts and push all the air into here. I think that is huge. Let's go outside and show you some of the stuff out here. I'm gonna try to touch on everything. I'm trying to hurry. All right. So I'll stop right here so you can see some of the stuff in case I can't touch on it. So storage in the front. These aren't gonna be prepped for a generator or have a generator. Usually you don't get the generator unless you're like in a toy hauler. All right, so there's some storage in the front. You got your battery box, battery disconnect right there, so when you're ready to store it. You can plug in additional solar panel if you'd like right here, daisy chain it, and that'll keep your batteries recharged. 200 watts of solar, docking lights right there. And then you got 30-pound propane tanks on both sides just to even out that weight. So one on this side and one on the other side. And your pass-through storage. So you'll notice the pass-through storage is a lot bigger than on the 24 models. So all aluminum frame, like I said. Pretty great storage right there. You do have a plug right there. And your solid steps right there. Getting a little noise. Sorry, guys. Let's see. We'll come back here. Right here, you do have a mini fridge. So this is Magic Chef as well, like the inside. So for those cold snacks, this will have a rack and pinion slide system, as you can see. Tried and true, also known as a through frame slide. You do have frameless windows throughout as well. So you're not gonna get those black streaks over the time of owning it. It's one piece glass and there's no gasket that could potentially, you know, crack or get brittle on you. You got your luggage latches and the magnet up there just to hold it. They are giving this add-on feature if you wanted to buy it. Look, you can get like the outside table thing that attaches to the outside. You do have to buy it separately, but see how there's like this little receiver right here, and then you could put your griddle on it. Really cool. So we can order that for you if that's something you wanted to get. And then back here, crazy storage. So not only did you have the pass-through, but you have this door as well. Look at all of this. So this storage area, I kind of split it up right here to like this line to go all the way back. This side is 25 by 75 and 26 inches tall. This side where it comes in is gonna be 22 by 47 and 26 inches tall. Shoot, dang, that's a whole nother bunk room right there. So this is, you can lift this up too, like I showed you on the inside. Really nice. You do have the 2-inch receiver on the back, and it looks like it's ready for towing. You can hold, it could tow up to 3,000 pounds. You got your 4-way plug back here. So if you got a boat or, you know, dirt bikes, anything like that, it is ready to tow. Or if you just wanted to get, you know, a cargo rack, it will do that as well. This is kind of some stuff I've touched on. Right there, you got a plug in the back. It does come with the ladder already, so you can get on the roof, make sure everything is good. TPO, commercial grade rubber, lifetime warranty, and I love that they give you the ladder. People always ask why it doesn't have the slide toppers. The reason why is because we get a lot of wind out here, so we just don't do it because we don't want them to tear, but we can always add them after the fact. Now, let's see. This is just some added storage right here. Did not measure this one. I apologize. But definitely probably about 18 inches deep right here. Maybe even a little more. So you can put your chairs in here. Goes up pretty high. Nice added storage. Sometimes companies will just not do it. So I love that. Look how thick their storage doors are too. Just really good quality throughout the whole thing. What else is cool that they've never done before is you got 6-point auto level now on this bad boy. So push a button, it'll self-level while your friends are struggling to get their trailer leveled. You're gonna be having a cold snack within 10-15 minutes. You do got ABS brakes now on this unit. So they used to never do that. A lot safer. Your brakes are not gonna lock up when you're going down the road. On these bigger fifth wheels, they cannot do a torsion axle just because of the weight. So keep that in mind. All the tow behinds, you will have a torsion axle. It's just the bigger fifth wheels. And then you have your black tank hose or poop tube holder right there because it does not have the bumper in the back. Here's your black gray drains right there. And it's actually in a good spot because it's in front of the tire. So versus it being in the back, you're not gonna drag these. And then if you notice, like on these one, it's actually on the underbelly. So you're not gonna freeze this piping right here. So black, gray, 2 gray tanks. They do that to distribute the weight evenly, just so that way it's not one big giant tank. You got your docking lights right there. You got a 6-gallon, or no, this is a 10-gallon water heater. I promise you, if they thought the tankless water heater would be better, they would do it because everything else is done really well. Tankless water heaters tend to not do very good at high altitude, and they also are lukewarm. If you want to take a shower in cold weather, you're not going to get a hot shower. You're going to get a lukewarm shower. So 10-gallon water heater, tried and true. Why fix it if it's not broken? And then all your utilities right here in this one location, you got hot and cold water. So if you need to spray off the gremlins out here, you got your hot, cold water. Kind of just coordinate those to what kind of settings you need. Dry camping, winterize it, all that stuff. And it does have the filter. It'll filter all the water, shower, sink, everything. So everything is in that one central location right there. And then you do have your auto level, like I said, right here. Now, let's talk about some construction right here on these outer walls. This is huge and important. Hopefully the noise doesn't get to us. Let's see. So the way they make these walls, there's 2 ways that companies tend to make these walls. Is it'll go the fiberglass, then it'll either go Luan or a composite material. Then it'll go the rigid block foam, and then it'll go the aluminum, and then your inner walls. Luan is just a thin sheet of wood. So you got to imagine when that wood gets wet, what happens? It'll get moldy, it'll start to deteriorate, and then it also will start to delaminate. So all your walls start to separate. Let's go inside real quick. So your walls literally start to separate, and that's what's called delamination. A lot of companies use Asdale. Just keep in mind, that is the brand. It's like Kleenex or like different brands of toilet paper. It's all the same thing. It's just, it's a brand. So they moved to a different brand, and I can't remember the name of the brand, but it supposedly it's adhered a lot better. So they're using a different composite material. So these will have outer composite walls, but Flagstaff goes even further. If you notice, we got this little diagram right here. You got your composite or your exterior fiberglass composite. And if you notice, it's B. Look at this diagram. That's right. You seen that? Double B, baby. Double layered composite walls. So your outer walls and your inner walls are composite walls. So you're gonna have less chance of having delamination issues. If for some reason you weren't checking your sills and water get in, you can address it quickly. So just a really nice way for your trailer to hold up through the time of owning it. Not only that, but they actually vacuum bond these walls. So there's two ways that they kind of compress these walls. They'll do pinch and roll, so they'll run it through a press, or they'll do what's called vacuum bonding, where they suck all the air out of the walls. Pinch and roll, you got to think, they're running it through the roller, and what if your trailer is that last wall to go through that roller before they replace it? It's not as consistent, whereas the vacuum bonding, they use this really high pressure and they suck out all that air, so it's much more consistent. Also, you don't have pockets of air in your walls, so you won't have bubbling or delamination issues. So you have two ways to kind of protect you from that delamination. You got the composite walls and you got the vacuum bonded walls. So a lot of little things that I could talk about that you cannot see. So definitely watch some of my other videos. Just for instance, all of it is aluminum framed. You got galvanized steel in the behind the wall to hang the cabinetry. You got the double layered Asdel. You got the ABS brakes. They go a long way to really make sure that the customer has a good experience owning this, and they also want it to last. So if you're looking for something that you want to last, you're not looking to trade it in, you know, this is the one trailer you want, that is what Flagstaff is for. So I hope you guys enjoyed that tour. If you want to know where I'm located at Albuquerque RV in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Our phone number will be down below in the description. So if you call in, please ask for Tyler, because I'm a full-time salesperson. I'm not a YouTuber like a lot of these other people. Also, we are on a rotating list. So if you call in and don't ask for me, you could end up with a different sales guy, which isn't bad, but I want to help you. Unless you just don't like me, that's cool too. Just call in. Any one of our sales guys would be happy to help you. Another big thing that I want to talk about is if you think I deserve it, only if I deserve it. If you've gotten any benefit or help out of my videos, there will be a link down below in the description for the dealership. It's a Google review. If you could leave a 5-star review, it goes a really long way. You have no idea how much it helps us. We're a small locally owned dealership right between two big corporate dealerships. A lot of you guys have done those reviews, and I just want to thank you so much for doing that. So that link will be down below, or you could type in Albuquerque RV, one of the hardest cities to spell ever, and look up the dealership and leave a review that way. One last thing I want to touch on is every Sunday at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we go live, and it's a lot of fun. We're going on 11 weeks of doing this. I go live with my subscribers. You do have to be subscribed to leave comments, but the awesome thing is you can get on, say, hey, Tyler, I'm looking for something 5,000 pounds, 25 feet, and I could tour the whole lot with you and show you all the options. So it's a really great way for you to see a lot of options instantly. And another thing that you can do is just ask any question about the RV industry, options, features, all that good stuff, and get your questions answered immediately. It's a lot of fun. People won't see you visually on it, but you could type out comments. It's a lot of fun. So 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we will go live. Again, there's a lot of noise going on outside, so definitely watch some of my other videos because there's a lot of stuff I couldn't touch on out there other than what I did. So I hope you guys have a good evening, a good night, a good morning whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks, guys.